Hey everyone, it's Mike here, and today we're going to learn how to create a repeating pattern, along with using the geometry function and creating symbols. So let's start off by creating two shapes. First shape is going to be a square, and then the second shape is going to be a circle. Now, with the circle selected, let's go ahead and change the color to blue. So now that we have two shapes created with two different colors, let's go ahead and select both. You'll know when you selected both of the shapes when both of the layers are selected or highlighted. Now, let's go on top of the right hand side of our toolbar, and this is where the geometry functions are located. Let's go ahead and click Add. Add simply combines both of the shapes together while retaining the first shape's color, which is red. And if you notice in the layers bar, both of these shapes are combined as one. So let's go ahead and undo that last add function, and let's go ahead and use the subtract function. Now what this does is subtract the second shape from the first shape, and you're left with whatever is remaining from the first shape. Now let's undo that last subtract function and go to the next one, which is intersect. Intersect simply removes any shapes that does not overlap one another. However, it still retains the original or the first shape's color, which is red. Now let's undo that last function and move on to the next one, which is divide. Divide simply breaks down the first shape, the second shape, and the intersecting shape. So you can edit these shapes to your liking, whether you want to delete it, enlarge or resize it to a smaller size, as well as changing the color. You can manipulate it to any way you like. So now let's undo that and select both of our shapes again and use our last geometry function called combine. When you use the combine function, it adds both of the shapes together while removing any part that overlaps one another, just as you saw there. Now let's go ahead and undo that, and for this tutorial I'm going to use the divide function, and I'm going to remove the centerpiece or the overlapping piece. Now we've created a unique logo. Now let's name this logo. Let's name it Geometry. Alright, so now that we have a logo and brand name, we can go ahead and start to create a repeating pattern using this logo and brand name. So let's go ahead and resize the logo. And I'm going to move this logo to the top left corner along with the geometry brand name. And with the geometry text selected, now you want to go up to the layers menu and you want to select convert to curves. Now when you use convert to curves on a text, it simply creates individual shapes of each letter. And to show you what I mean, let's go to the layers bar and click the drop down box for that layer, and now you see that I'm selecting each individual layer as a shape. Converting text into curves allows me to make adjustments, which is called kerning. Kerning is simply adjusting the space between each letters of a word. Not only does kerning allows us to create words that are legible to read, it also allows us to create a sense of feeling of the text. For example, if you space the letters of a word very close together, you get a sense of this claustrophobic feeling. And when you space the letters far apart, you get a sense of distance. That's pretty much what kerning is all about. So let's move on. And now let's select both of our shapes from our logo and let's group it. That way we have one single layer. Now let's go up to our top menu and select View, Studio, and select Symbol. A window will pop up and you'll be able to save your shapes and curves as a symbol. When saving your shapes and curves as a symbol, you'll be able to reuse the shapes or manipulate them later on. Now let's go ahead and select our geometry logo and hit the Create button under the Symbols window. And let's do the same for the geometry text. So now that we have our logo and text in the Symbols window, we are able to duplicate either the logo or the text by simply dragging and dropping the symbol into the artboard, like so. Alright, so that's one way of duplicating your logo or text. Now I'm going to show you how to duplicate your logo and text all together and spacing it evenly. Let's go ahead and select our logo and text. Now on your keyboard, hold down the Alt key and click anywhere inside the box and drag it over to your right. And now we have a duplicate. Say you want to make another duplicate, but you want to keep the spacing evenly. So what we want to do is press Ctrl J on your keyboard while having the duplicate highlighted. And this will automatically create another duplicate while spacing the distance evenly. Now let's go ahead and select all of the logo and text that we duplicated, and we're going to use the Alt key again to create a duplicate, and this time we're going to move it downwards, the artboard, and we're trying to space it out in a different position, as you can see. Now let's zoom out and let's select everything at once again and hold down the Alt key again, and let's drag and drop and space the logo and text all together evenly. Now we can hit Ctrl J to duplicate it until it fulfills the entire artboard, as you can see. Okay, we can also use the arrow keys to make adjustments and nudge all of the logo and text to fit inside the artboard, and you can also resize them. Alright, so now we've created a backdrop with repeating logos and text, which is commonly seen at a red carpet event or a photo shoot. Now, let's say that our client at Geometry, they wanted us to change the logo, like the color of the logo. So let's go ahead and select a logo, and from your layers palette, let's scroll down and find the highlighted logo that's selected. Hit the drop down box and let's change the color red into the same blue. Say they wanted a one color logo instead. So let's go over to our eyedropper tool and select the blue color, and now we've changed the red into the blue, but we've only changed one lookup. So how do we change all of the reds into the blue? So let's go ahead and hit Ctrl Z to undo the color change. Now let's go over our symbols palette and hit the sync button, and let's reselect our color. And now we have all of the logos as blue. And that pretty much concludes our tutorial on how to create a repeating pattern. Now, while I'm making some color changes, let me know what you guys think. So leave a comment. If you guys like this video and you want to see more videos in the future, hit the like or subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.